You guys want to know why I'm 13 minutes late? I'm moving around like a 90-year-old because I was doing a power clean this morning in mid-rep. Felt that tweak in the lower back. 31 going on 91. Horrific feeling, moving very slowly. And with that, I welcome you back to the channel. Appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. Lamar Jackson has opened up and given some more specifics, even though some of you feel like that's not the case. In the live chat on his toe injury, it's the fourth known ailment, at least, that has plagued him and set him back so far this season. We are now entering week 13. It's a short week for the Ravens. It's a short week for the Bengals. It's Thursday Night Football, primetime Thanksgiving matchup inside the bank, and the first of two within a 3-week span. And, of course, the first that begins this very, very important closing 6-week stretch for the Ravens. 4 divisional opponents, New England and Green Bay, will close out the regular season. So that's what's going on right now. Also give you some encouraging updates on both Rashad Bateman and Kyle Hamilton. And that came from their head coach, John Harbaugh, a short while ago. If you could on the way in, please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. Yeah, it was embarrassing this morning. I got to get that. 135 pounds, or what was it? At a 45 on each side of the barbell. So what's that? 145, 135, somewhere around there, depending on the weight of the bar. Ridiculous. Dre wants to know who I'm trying to prove. I have no idea. I mean, there's talent all over this new gym, so that could be a part of it. But it was embarrassing. And I gotta live that down. I will not live that down. So anyway, we'll get to that later on. I'm sure that more specifics, just like Lamar was open to revealing some specifics, will come out throughout the course of the next hour. And by the way, the guest lines are open. I see you, Point. I see you, Will. Appreciate you guys for being there. We'll get you on in just a bit here. Let me get my opening monologue done. And it has to do with this injury report as of yesterday. A final one. Remember, today is essentially a Friday, right? Because tomorrow is technically a Saturday in terms of the NFL calendar when you play on Thursday night. So that means we're going to get 5 final statuses going into the game at some point, hopefully during this live stream, but it wouldn't surprise me if they're not revealed until a little bit later on tonight. Bottom line is, Lamar practiced, and John Harbaugh says that both Kyle Hamilton and Rashad Bateman are going to be full participants. So that sets up nicely, as Jeff notes here. We'll talk more about all of this, by the way, tonight on the collective, 8 o'clock Eastern. Cole Jackson, Jeff Zaribek, and myself. So I'm looking forward to that. But the encouraging updates are that both Kyle Hamilton and Rashad Bateman may have a chance to give it a go coming up on Thursday. Notable, knowing that not only will Joe Burrow be playing in his first game since his turf toe procedure, and that was a surgical repair 2.5 months ago, but no Trey Hendrickson and no T. Higgins. So Batman's Robin with Jamar Chase. It'll be a solo endeavor for Jamar and company. As for Lamar, he was asked a number of questions about his latest ailment. We know that this is, again, the 4th physical setback that he's dealt with so far this season. It was the hamstring at first, then came the knee after the Vikings, then came the ankle after the Browns, and now comes the toe after the Jets.
Hard bothering you, or is this just one? It's just been this compilation of things over time.
No, it actually happened in the game. Like, I just got fell on, but I'm good though. Like, toe's good.
Yeah. Is it getting annoying though? It's something different every week that you have to deal with.
Talking about it is. But I don't like talking about something that happened, but it is what it is. It's part of the job, part of the game. But hopefully nothing is Thursday. Yeah.
Mark, do you remember when that toe injury happened?
First quarter. I got tackled one play. I wouldn't say it's intentional. We were just playing football, regular tackle. He just dropped all his weight on me though. So yeah.
It's tough not to allow frustration coming to set in with you when the physical issues have sort of mounted, when it's seemingly a new thing every week. Is it tough not to kind of feel like, woe is me, when am I going to ever feel 100%?
I don't think about that. We win, so that's what it's all about. I can't control the injury, Things like that happen. Unfortunately, it's just happening for the wrong time, I believe, but we winning, so that's all my focus on.
Do the other things feel better at this point, or is it just kind of a compilation of things?
I'm feeling better in some areas.
You said on Sunday, your view is like, look, if I'm out there, I should be able to play and do all the things I normally do. Has it been difficult to try to manage through each of those things over the course of weeks and sort of play through that or figure out how to play through it?
No, I just get treatment, and when Sunday comes, Thursday, what's about to happen this week, I don't think about it. I just go out there and play.
All right, so a couple tidbits there. Again, several questions Lamar Jackson fielded earlier this afternoon on the toe, which we now know came in the first quarter of the Jets game. So as Jeff kind of listed out, yeah, it's been a lot over the last couple months for him physically, which I think we can all agree is limiting him. It's limiting this play calling duty and the overall strategy, I would imagine, of what Todd Monken can and cannot do in the offensive play caller booth. It's limiting Lamar physically. It's, I wouldn't say limiting, but certainly exposing different areas of the Ravens offensive line, particularly in pass protection. And quite frankly, it's making this Ravens offense a lot more one-dimensional than we're used to seeing throughout the Lamar era. That's not to say that he isn't still capable of beating you and killing you with his arm. Sunday was not one of those days. He was not sharp. And I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the way in which he's inevitably, I'm sure he's protecting himself to a degree based on all the ailments that you see on the screen. And I'll continue to be, a broken record when saying that there's a cumulative effect here that's immeasurable when it comes to the wear and tear that have led to Lamar's limitations physically so far this year. John was asked about that this afternoon.
You've seen from Lamar these past few weeks when maybe he's not as healthy as you guys still win the games. Obviously, he probably wasn't playing his best in those games. But what have you seen him kind of getting through those last few weeks?
Right. Well, I feel like Lamar's playing winning football in games that you have to find a way to do what's required to win the game. And that's different in every game. And he's been doing that. Whether sometimes you take some things for granted. You protect the football or you operate the right way. Or you get us down the field. I mean, we've had some key drives at the end of the game, second half and fourth quarter, that have been game winners for us in offense. So it's like, well, you may be referring to, quote unquote gaudy stats and things like that, but how about the fourth quarter stats? I think Lamar's got a 144 quarterback rating in the fourth quarter when the game needs to be won, and that's when these games have needed to be won in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. So that's probably the most important stat, and so that's what I see.
I get it. It's the most important stat is winning, yes, and they've done a lot of that over the last month plus, to the tune of a 5-game winning streak, 6-5, above 500 for the first time this season, and they have successfully navigated the favorable part of their regular season schedule. But now the show's back on, much like it was the first 5 weeks or so, call it 6 weeks, including that Rams game pre-bye week. Listen to this segment from Mina Kimes and company on NFL Live just within the last hour or so.
Lamar, and Mina, I turn that question to you. What do you think is happening here with him?
Well, the injuries have clearly affected his athleticism. You see the rushing stats there. It's obvious when you watch as well. But I think the more alarming thing to some extent is how uncomfortable he looks throwing from inside the pocket. Over the last 4 weeks, according to FTN Fantasy, which tracks this, on first reads, he's 32nd in accuracy. To put that in context, last year he was second behind only Joe Burrow. And it's not like Lamar Jackson has suddenly become an inaccurate pocket passer, particularly on quick throws. To me, I suspect these things are tied together. Him knowing that he can't escape pressure the way he is accustomed to doing is clearly affecting his entire process within the pocket. Perhaps there are mechanical issues affected by the injury as well, but he's just not been himself as a pocket passer. That said, You're going up against the Cincinnati Bengals defense that can be had, that is giving up 90 yards a game to tight ends, so there will be opportunities there. But I do want to see Lamar look better within the pocket, setting aside the athleticism.
No Trey Hendrickson either.
Yeah, that helps.
No Trey Hendrickson. And again, to kind of underscore what Mina's getting at here from a positive spin standpoint, look at where the Cincinnati defense ranks entering week 13. They're dead last overall. They're giving up 415.8 yards of offense on any given week on average. They're 31st against the run, allowing 156 rushing yards per game. 259.8 passing yards. That's dead last. They're dead last in scoring, 32.7. They're second to last on third down. They're 22nd on fourth down, and they're 28th in the red zone. And Aaron Schatz, the creator of DVOA, has him again all-time right now, the worst all-time since he's been tracking DVOA, which goes back to 1978. Okay? So if you're looking for a get-right game, offensively speaking, maybe this is the one. And when I say get right, I'm not expecting them to put up a 40-piece, but perhaps move the ball with more ease. Maybe score your first opening drive touchdown since September. It's been since September 28th, the Chiefs week. Guys, that'll be 2 months by this weekend. It's been a long time since this offense functioned at a clip that we're used to seeing led by Lamar. But it's also been a long time, clearly, since Lamar's been fully healthy, and there's a direct correlation between the two. As for defending Cincinnati, because there is absolutely a scenario where this could be another barn burner, another shootout, much like we saw in both regular season matchups last year. Of course, both went Baltimore's way. They swept Cincinnati, including one in overtime. John Harbaugh was asked about defending Jamar Chase. They will not have to deal with the duo that is Jamar and T. T. Higgins is in concussion protocol after a hard fall in Sunday's game. But here is Harbaugh on that strategy that goes in.
Certainly does merit double coverage. I mean, he's one of the premier receivers in the league for sure. It's hard to get to that because you've got some other weapons out there, and as soon as you start pulling the coverage too far away from other guys, and other guys start making plays on you. So we'll have to balance all that out with what we do. But yeah, he's one of the top guys in the league for sure.
Jamar has had some signature games against the Ravens over and over and over again. T. Higgins, again, will be out. Jamar was asked without his running mate what he's going to be expecting defensive strategy-wise.
I would say there's a lot more zones. And really just six strong when T was in a lot, you know what I'm saying? And play quarters and a lot of two. But now it might be like maybe some man with double. If T's not out there, you know, it'd probably play man with everybody else and just double me. You know, who knows though? So we got winners.
Look, this defense has been a group that throughout this favorable stretch has looked the part. It's done what it's supposed to have done all year long, at least in terms of the on-paper evaluations going into the season. Look at where this group ranks since week 8, and that's throughout the 5-game winning streak. They're first in a lot of categories, if not sole possession. They're tied for first in a number of them, and then sole possession in a couple of these categories since week 8. That was the Chicago game, I believe, if memory serves. But anyway, they're first in offensive touchdowns allowed with 4. They're first in points per game allowed, just 13.4. They're first in opponent third down percentage, 26.6. They're first in opponent passer rating at 65.6. They've faced a lot of rookies. They've faced a lot of young players who are struggling. So again, I understand that some of these numbers are skewed and should be talked about with that context in mind. They're tied for first in passing touchdowns allowed with 2. They're also tied for first in passes defensed with 30. What did they have against Minnesota and J.J. McCarthy? Like, what was it? 10 or 12 pass deflections, something insane like that, which was tied for 4th in franchise history. I can't remember the specific number. I don't have it in front of me. They're tied for first in takeaways with 10. They're also tied for first in opponent red zone touchdown percentage at 30.8. They have not been so good on that inside that area of the field on the offensive side of the ball, as we've all watched. Stall after stall after stall. They're second in quarterback hits with 35. They're second in interceptions with 6. They continue to get timely defensive efforts. And how about some timely edge rusher presence? As we continue to see number 45 grow and develop right before our eyes. John Harbaugh was asked about Mike Green coming on earlier today.
Agree. I mean, he's really he's amping it up. He's making some plays. He had a couple crazy good reactions, screen passes, and different things that were just natural football player moves. He's been pressuring the quarterback. He's I think the pass rush is starting to really heat up. But one of the more advanced young all-around players probably that we've had in a while. So he looks good.
Good for Mike, man. And they put a graphic together from his Jets performance, a pressure rate of 18.2%, 4 quarterback hits on Tyrod Taylor, and a sack. So the Rook's playing well, and his running mate, the newly acquired Draymond Jones, been playing at a high level as well, picking up right where he left off during his time in Tennessee. Here's what he's done since joining the Ravens. The Sleeper Ravens account tallied all this up. He's played 63.3% of his defensive snaps over 3 games in Baltimore. He's logged 10 pressures, 6 quarterback hits, 1.5 sacks, and a PBU. So, Joe Burrow's back. Jamar Chase, as long as he's on the field, he's coming back from the 1-game suspension that he served for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. I listened to his entire press conference. Not exactly remorseful. Maybe that doesn't surprise some of you guys. Bottom line is, this is a group that is very capable. This is an important game. And an important game for both teams. If Cincinnati loses this game, you're not looking at mathematical elimination, but you're all but eliminated if you lose this game and drop to 3-9. They're 3-8 right now. Same thing with Cleveland. It's a big game. Joe Burrow was asked about another matchup with number 8.
Lamar have had against each other. It's just so rare to see intra-division passers like this. You go back, Manning really never had that inter-division guy. Same with Brady. Do you acknowledge that might be a big part of your story someday when it's all said and done? These chapters with Lamar and these numbers that continue to pop up when you guys square off.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously everybody sees how great of a player he is and how hard he works and how he improves every single year. Obviously, I have a lot of respect for him and love competing against him.
Look, you can say what you want, live chat, but I got a lot of respect for Joe Burrow. The fact that this team is 3-8 and he got up there during his his podium session today and was asked a number of questions as to why. Why did you come back? And he said, paraphrasing, I make a lot of money to play the game that I love with some of my best friends. And I owed it to myself. I owed it to this fan base. I owed it to this organization to go back out there. I got a lot of respect for that. They basically have to win out to give themselves a chance at 9-8 to make the wild card. I don't think 9-8 would win the division, but I think 9-8 gives you a pretty darn good chance. Anything below that's tough. That's tough. And of course, the live chat, as they always do, just totally triggered by me complimenting another team. You guys pissed me off. You know that? Was anybody there for yesterday's closing remarks on the vault where Sarah told me that I talk up every opponent? Essentially, I can't remember what her specific wording was, but she's like, yeah, you essentially talk up every opponent. I really don't intentionally try to talk up every opponent. I know that Joe Burrow is a cold-blooded killer. He's played in a Super Bowl. He's been very injured and maybe even injury-prone at times throughout his career. But when this dude's healthy and this offense is firing at the clip that we've seen, they can play with anybody. And I expect them to get theirs at times during a Ravens defense that's been susceptible to speed, been susceptible to surgical quarterback play, susceptible to running backs like Chase Brown who come in playing pretty darn well. He's got 5 consecutive games with 100-plus yards from scrimmage. It's the longest active streak in the NFL. And we know what Jamar does really on an annual basis when it comes to attacking the Ravens secondary. Look, I'll be very, very curious to see who draws the assignment. I'm sure it'll be a strength in numbers type of approach that the Ravens take to defending one. But that will be a big, 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 big pivotal part of how you limit this offense with no T. Higgins. What are you going to do? You're going to double him? And if you double him, where are you in Bowl in other areas? You already know Nate Wiggins is breathing down Zach Orr and Chuck Pagano's neck this week. I'm sure he wants the assignment as much as he can possibly get. And damn it, I'd love to see it. As long as it's not Brandon Stevens. All due respect. Appreciate you guys for holding in the waiting room. Let's open up these guest lines. And please vote in the poll if you could. Over 100 votes. Question's pretty simple. Will the Ravens hold Jamar Chase? Well, the answer to the question is not simple. The strategy to do exactly what I'm about to discuss right now ain't simple. But the yes or no is simple. Just choose one. Will the Ravens successfully hold Jamar Chase to under 100 receiving yards with no T. Higgins in the lineup? Or will he have one of his banner days? Robbie, what's going on, brother? He says, can't wait for this Ravens defense to shut them down on Thursday. I'll tell you one area the Ravens, I think, can eat. Utilizing their tight ends, their trio of tight ends. It's been a struggle for Isaiah Likely since returning from his foot injury. It's been a struggle statistically for Mark Andrews this year. Charlie Kohler's awesome. I find it hard to even critique the guy. He gets such limited opportunity as a pass catcher. He almost always seems to answer the bell. But obviously with all three in the same tight end room, not to mention Pat Ricard as a fullback / tight end, there's a lot of mouths you got to feed if you're Todd Monken and company. But the graph that you're seeing up on the screen right now suggests that I don't know if it's going to be all three of them, but at least one or two of them should be eaten early and often against this Bengals defense that's been susceptible to elite tight end play. Maybe not even elite tight end play, tight end usage, let's call it. You're looking at tight end receiving yards and receiving touchdowns allowed this season, and there's a bunch of teams in the middle of the chart. And then there's Cincinnati in the upper right-hand corner in a different stratosphere. Attack them. Attack them across the middle. Attack them outside the numbers. Attack them vertically. Attack, attack, attack. This is the worst ranked defense in the history of DVOA. It's time to put points up. It's time to put up or shut up. Nobody needs to shut up. Nobody's talking. Time to get to the guest lines. It's that late afternoon, early evening alter ego. Just waiting for somebody to start bullshit in the live chat so I can get after somebody. It's like Roquan on game days. He just wants to hit somebody. I'm not saying I want to hit any of you. But I would like to get after somebody. Was Major Media doing some bullshit earlier? Should I go scroll up and look at this real time before I bring in Mr. Point, who's been waiting patiently with a green screen behind him? I see you, Will. I see you, Mexico. Mr. Manny. Let's see. Let me scroll up. A lot of people are commenting today. Vote in the poll while you're at it. Where's Major Media bullshitting doing as usual? What's he saying here? Monken, and he spells Monken as Monikon. 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 Major Media says Monken has always been trash at converting third and short. So has Monken's personnel not been trash? Does he have elite guard play, Major Media? Does he have a full-fledged, healthy quarterback, Major Media? When the fuck are you going to call in? I love how you get in the live chat. Yeah, Point, you may have to wait a second. When is a guy like Major Media Channel going to give himself the opportunity to put his vocals where his fingers are? Nobody quote me on that one. I'm sure Dre Dog's already getting spiced up over that one. Major Media comes in here every day, which I do appreciate. I do enjoy that he's a subscriber. He may not be. He might be one of those guys that just comes in and out and doesn't actually subscribe to the program. Who knows? But if he is, and I have to check that after the show, then I appreciate him first and foremost for spending part of his day with me. But when I get to spend part of my day with him only in the live chat, it just kind of motivates me to want to call him out in front of 500 people at the moment concurrently watching this and say, come on the show. Bring that same energy when you come up on here. Because as Coach Evans told us on the vault today, sometimes you are only as good as your personnel is. And I got news for you guys. Todd Monken's offensive line personnel, while serviceable this past Sunday against a Jets defense that just went through a fire sale at the deadline, hasn't exactly been serviceable over the course of an 11-game sample size moving forward. And I don't know what's going to change or what should be expected to change outside of a potential rotation coming as early as Thursday night for a rookie that had shoulder surgery in March and is about to log his first ever potential snap in his young career. Talking about Emory Jones Jr. I don't know what else can change. They have not shown a willingness to change. I know Rave is somewhere probably blue in the face right now, screaming about how Ben Cleveland isn't going to have the opportunity to be the savior. He would never be the savior, and that's all due respect to Ben. That would never happen. Rave sometimes lives in this alternate universe. Yeah, I'm on my soapbox right now. Point may never get on the show. Manny may come on tomorrow. Where was I? Let's go to the guest lines. Major, see what you did? I love this. Now Ocean, now it's time to go, baby. Ocean says, God, Bobby does nothing but being negative. Bobby does nothing but being negative. First of all, it's terrible grammar, but be negative, not being. And two, call your ass in, Ocean08. Should we pull your comment up so we can see your avatar? At least put your goddamn face on here, can you? Who even is that? Yeah, it's crash out time. Just in time for Steve Luke to be here. You think Steve sometimes texts Tyler and be like, there is this absolute psycho that I watch on a daily basis. I pop in for a couple minutes. He compliments you sometimes. He then rips you for some of the landing zone issues. But I get my fix for Ravens coverage, and there's this absolute psycho who's 31, has a terrible back injury at the moment, single, nowhere near having kids or a wife, no mortgage, just moved to Florida in a furnished unit, goes on walk-in talks every day, isn't spending Thanksgiving with his family because he operates this. Steve, great to have you here. To the guest lines we go before I really start crashing out. Start crashing out. I'm already in the middle of crashing out. Point, thank you for your patience. Welcome to the program, brother.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Man, what's going on?
Chilling, man. Just watching the show. What's going on?
Not much, man. I'm going to throw up your timer, even though I probably owe you like 120 seconds or times 4.
Don't sweat it.
You see the poll, man. You see the poll. They're going to successfully contain Jamar Chase coming up on Thursday, or what's the formula to victory?
Formula to victory. We got to get pass rush, definitely. I can't speak on the O-line. I'm the one that spam on the O-line every day. The O-line's horrible. And I'm hoping that Lamar definitely looks a little more healthier. That's all I got.
Yeah, no. It's a good place to start and end and stay, because I just don't. Where's this team going to go if Lamar can't in season overcome what we now know is at least 4 ailments? And when I say at least, who knows what else he's dealt with? But there's been 4 serious enough to report them on injury reports and whatnot, ailments that we know of. And of course, this week was the toe. Last week was the ankle. The week before that was the knee. And then back in September, it was the hamstring, which lingered for multiple weeks. So, look, this is a much more important game for Cincinnati. And I think that's where the conversations start to shift. Just how desperate will they be? Just how willing and able will Joe be able to overcome what I'm sure is going to be a level of rust?
Right.
I listened to his press conference this afternoon, and one of his big goals in terms of the timetable for his recovery is he wanted multiple weeks of practice to get back there. That tells me that this guy's not 100%.
Right.
And how can he be? He just superhuman rushed his way back from a grade 3 turf toe surgical procedure. You actually got to tip your cap to a player like that from a competitive spirit standpoint.
Yeah.
But hopefully that Ravens defense is listening, because if they get after him, I don't know how mobile he will be.
Definitely.
Point, you're the man. Appreciate you.
No doubt, man. Take it easy.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for the call. Guest lines are open, as you can see. Should I get back to crashing out, or should I continue the guest lines? Will's like, please, I've been waiting. The Bills are bringing in Brandon Cooks. I think he spent a little bit with the Saints this year. Was that where he was? Wide receiver Brandon Cooks. So I think they whiffed, the Bills did, at the deadline, or balked at whatever Miami wanted for Jalen Waddle. I thought that I had seen Buffalo was in on him, but obviously that didn't end up working out. And Keon Coleman apparently is no longer a part of their offense. Multiple disciplinary actions, missing meetings, a lot of strange things going on there with the former first-round pick out of Florida State. So interesting. Didn't they just bring in McCole Hardman the other day? Or am I making that up? Anyway, this just popped up on the timeline off to the left-hand side. And because it's AFC related and the Bills are jockeying for wild card positioning and whatnot, this is relevant. So Brandon Cooks cleared waivers, signed with Buffalo. So they're doing whatever they can possibly get to get another weapon in front of Josh Allen as a pass catcher. The wide receiver room just doesn't scare you. Khalil Shakir, Joshua Palmer, Brandon Cooks, Keon Coleman, Tyrell Shavers, Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel, and a couple practice squad wide receivers, including Gabe Davis, who's back for another stint. There's nothing that really scares you about that room. Is there much that scares you about the team? Clearly, they showed that they're, I guess, worthy of being feared based on what they did or what the Ravens did to themselves in the fourth quarter back in week 1. Oh, Keon was second round. Excuse me. Was Keon Coleman a second round pick? Thank you. As Tilly makes her way into the live chat. Did you guys see my Instagram story this morning? It's kind of nasty. I'll show it to you real quick, and then we'll get back to the guest lines. I was witness to a murder in cold blood late last night. Tilly's a cold-blooded killer. I'll get to that in just a second. This episode is brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group. I want to say continued thanks to my longest-standing sponsor inside this channel. The sole reason why I have wheels in the form of a 2023 Ford Bronco Sport. The Bobby Baltimore Bronco continues to treat me and my family so well, and I want to say thanks to Preston. Bobby Baltimore subscribers, as you guys probably know by now, receive 2 exclusive offers, $500 towards a newer pre-owned vehicle, and or when you buy 4 tires, you'll receive 50% off your alignment. You've got over 3,000 different vehicles to choose from in their available inventory section at PrestonMotor.com. You can scan the QR code in the upper right-hand corner to get started today. You can visit the show notes for the direct link. They have home delivery available. You don't need to be in the Maryland area or the greater Baltimore area to work with them. You're joining a trusted team serving Baltimore and beyond. Again, scan that upper right-hand corner and the QR code. You can also go to Instagram to learn more about them as well. They're partnering up with Ravens tight end Mark Andrews this year, as they have been all season. And for every touchdown he scores, $890 is being donated to Breakthrough T1D. That's type 1 diabetes. We know that Mark is a fighter. Mark is a diabetic himself and an advocate for diabetics all over this country. I salute him. Salute Preston Automotive Group. And all of you joining me right now, I'm dropping in the link to their Instagram page. Would love for you to follow them. Let them know I sent you if you end up doing business with them. Just drop that link into the show notes for you, into the live chat, I should say. Okay, before we get back to the guest lines, real quick. Oh, God. If you're squeamish, if you love rats for whatever reason, I didn't really mean to, harm anyone or upset anybody by this. But, look at what Tilly did late last night. Yeah, I mean, first of all, can we talk about the size of that rat? Let's pause. Sorry to pause this if you guys are thinking this is nasty, because it is nasty. You want to know what was also nasty? Having a front row seat to this mauling. So here's the thing about Tilly. She's a boxer lab mix, okay? And she was a pandemic rescue, as some of you guys have gathered over the years who followed me in my life. There's one thing about Tilly, till the cows come home. Her prey drive is unrelenting. It is next level. It is see ball, get ball for all things squirrels, rodents, lizards, now that we're down here, salamanders, rabbits, you name it. See ball, get ball. This was a big ball right here. Pause. Look at that rat. I'm sitting out of my courtyard last night. I live in an ADU. It's attached to this property here in St. Pete. And it's dark. I'm posted up, just letting her do her business outside. And all of a sudden, I don't even know how to describe what I heard. There was clearly a struggle, but there was also just like shuffling around. I was like, what is that noise? Like, that's not her going after a squirrel. That's not her rolling around in the grass. That's not her playing with a toy. No, that was her literally knocking the hell out of this thing out. It was nasty. And at the scene of the crime, somehow someone so innocent, someone so cute, someone so, look at that face. So yeah, the pest and the pest control, RIP, the first Floridian prisoner that Tilly has taken since we moved. A lot of the tree huggers, a lot of the squirrel feeders in my DMs are not happy with me. I get it. I feel the same way when you get guys like, I can't remember the last athlete who does it, but I know Ben Cleveland does it a lot. They get on there and they're fighting, or excuse me, they're hunting in the woods of Georgia or wherever, and they're killing deer, and they're standing over said slain deer, and then they're posting that on Instagram. Maybe I stooped to that level today. Now, I get it. I get how hunting works. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not eating some form of meat. Pause. So maybe I actually was a hypocrite today. And maybe this segment has gone on far too long. Follow me on Instagram at Bobby Baltimore for more shit like this. Off we go. Back to the guest lines we go. Before really things go off the rails. Tilly, yes, you are being talked about. She's looking at me across the wind right now. Where were we? Jamar Chase? Will they successfully hold him under 100 receiving yards? And if they do, will that directly lead to a win? How about this? Will they move the ball effectively on the worst ranked defense in all the land? Will, what say you? And if so, what's the key to doing exactly that? Welcome back to the program, brother. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me once again. I think we'll be a little rusty coming into it. We've been rusty against the Vikings, the Jets. I mean, I've seen stuff like someone said, I don't know, I think it was Chris Broussard, I could be wrong though, saying like the Jets make their losses like, or people's wins to them like very ugly. I could be wrong on who said that, but and I think we'll be a little rusty coming into it, but I think we'll find our groove. And again, with the tight end stat, I think we'll get Isaiah Likely finally involved in there, and Bate will probably be back hopefully. And I think we'll just dice him up in the passing game. And then with Jamar Chase, I think yes, we don't have Brandon Stevens on there again, and I feel like he's going to beam top the absolute shit out of Marlon Humphrey this next game. I'm like just talking like realistically here. I hope that's not the case. I hope Marlon Humphrey either punches out the ball with the fat ass like Cassie has, or just something along those lines, just hopefully. But if we do get him under 100 yards, either he'll be at least like 90 yards or if we're lucky, maybe 60 yards. But if we do, I don't know. I think we might pull out a win.
Good seeing you, brother.
Good seeing you too.
Later, man. Guest lines are open. Reacting to a number of different things as we get ready for a short week in Ravens-Bengals on Thanksgiving evening. Hope you guys are having an awesome pre-holiday festivity, whatever you guys are up to. Maybe your wheels up. Maybe you're taking trains home. Maybe you're flying. I don't know what you're all doing, but hopefully safe travels. I'm not going to be home, obviously, this week, which is a bummer, but I will be back for Christmas week. I think I'm going to pop over to Orlando after the game on not after the game Thursday night, but probably either Friday night or Saturday morning to hang out with some family there. So hopefully you guys are doing well. But yeah, Will mentioned the tight end stat. There's no team that is worse in terms of defending tight ends this year than Cincy as a defense. And we all know the trio that is Mark Andrews, Charlie Kohler, and Isaiah Likely, and what they're capable of doing within the confines of this Ravens offense, even though all three have had their fair share of struggles this season. I hate to say that Charlie Kohler struggled every opportunity he gets. It's more like he's just not as involved as I'm sure he'd like to be, and he would be on most other teams across the league. But, when it comes to the tight end play, moving the ball effectively, if Rashad Bateman can go, which John Harbaugh certainly we're awaiting, and I may have to finish up the live stream to get ready for the collective before the final injury report comes down. But taking John at his word from earlier this afternoon, it certainly seems like both Rashad and Kyle are going to have a chance to play on Thursday night, which, man, if I were a betting man, I don't know if I would have said that as fact 48 hours ago. So not only will that be good to test Cincy's defense, but also hopefully, not stall inside the red zone. I think that's where Bateman's talents and presence really can come up large for this team that has struggled in the red zone, obviously, this year. And yeah, Jack, Kyle was practicing, and Harbaugh mentioned that he expects he and Bateman to both be full participants going into this weekend, or going into this Thursday, I should say. But anyway, let's go back to the guest lines. Appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. Juicebox, you ready to roll, brother? Welcome back, man. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. I think, well, first of all, the Jamar Chase thing. Yeah, I think we could do it. We just gotta cover them quick slants and try to keep somebody in the middle. And because as long as Malachi does what he's supposed to do and he stays deep and he doesn't cheat up, you're not gonna hit us over the top. So you really got to worry about the slants. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But I just want to go back real quick to the offensive line. I'm a shout out to Rave, but I think the whole thing that Ravens fans are pissed off about is this. It doesn't matter if it's Ben Cleveland, Larry Chicago, or whoever the hell it is. All we want to see is something new, something else, to try something. We did that with the defense, and look what happened. So I don't care about Ben Cleveland. Ben Cleveland don't even have to be on the team. It don't matter. Insert whoever. Just try something new. And not even just Daniel Falele. You could do it like Sip said earlier. Try moving Andrew Voorhees out. I think Linderbaum is being so stressed out because he don't know who to help. Similar to how Roquan was last year when everybody was killing him. And then you brought somebody next to him and he's cool. I just think we need a change. That's all.
All right, Juice. Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it,
man. And you're right, too. You mentioned Sip to Tally. He was great today. And he's like, look, and this is not the first I've heard from an offensive line guru on this topic, but he's of the belief that Voorhees is the weaker link, the weakest link up and down this offensive line. The PFF grades suggest that. Some of what Jeff had to share last week from opposing defensive strategists that have faced the Ravens, what he's shared on that, matches up. I mean, that's tough. Now, he doesn't have the low light reel that's seemingly endless with 77 searching for work or on his ass or just completely uninvolved in the play. But there were some great breakdowns today, I thought, of 77 effectively pulling, effectively using his size. 6'8", 300-plus pounds, doing what he does in the run game. Matter of fact, there were some pulling concepts that we saw today in Coach's breakdown that looked a whole lot like some of the concepts that Greg Roman had installed. I know you probably roll your eyes at that, but let's be honest. This was a group that almost always ran the ball effectively year in and year out was when Giro was the play caller in Baltimore. Now, it ran its course for other reasons as it relates to Lamar as a passer and needing to amplify and make it more sophisticated, as Steve Young told us years ago. Ravens overall offense going into week 13. It's the 21st ranked group. They're 6th in rushing, 29th in passing, 10th in scoring, 19th on third down, 18th on fourth down, and 30th inside the red zone. That has just been an area where it baffles you. It really does. 46.3% of the time, guys, they are scoring touchdowns inside the 20s. That is not going to cut it. And I'm not going to sit here and overly bash Todd, because at the end of the day, you only are as good as your personnel is. And that's an area where the Ravens have struggled mightily right now. Joseph Cook, 9886, chimes in. He calls me Upstate, which I do enjoy. I do like that nickname, by the way. He says, Upstate, 77 ain't worth 3 pennies. Stop the BS. You're sounding like Sarah. Was I touting 77, or was I saying that it's a pillow fight between him and Fa'alele? Joseph, you're another one of those guys like Major Media. Talk your shit and come on the show. Let's go. Should I crash out again? Get your ass inside the show. Let's go. Get your ass inside the show. Back at the guest lines we go. Yeah, Dre, you sit there and wait before you start clipping me and shit. Maurice is pacing. I think he's ready to go. He looks like Roquan in a huddle right now. Joseph, call in. Maurice is pacing. Should we bring him in or should we make him wait? EB, what's that you, huh? Look at you with that little chin. Look at you over there looking clean. Hey, put the phone down a little bit. You got your Amazon shirt? Yeah, he's always working. Look at him. What else is new? Joseph, I got all night, baby. Come on. 2 hours and 31 minutes. I don't have all night. 2 hours and 31 minutes. 2 hours and 30 minutes to the collective. We can go all night. We can go all night? I'll go all night. And maybe I have since I got here. Maurice, welcome back to the program. Good to see you, brother. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for having me. All right, so I believe we are capable of keeping Jamar Chase under 100 receiving yards, but as long as we keep like an extra set of eyes, like in the back end, we should stick with the 3 safety look. And like somebody mentioned before, as long as we don't have Marlon Humphrey assigned to covering Jamar Chase, we should be good. Because one thing I noticed over the years is that Marlon Humphrey has had his fair share of struggles when it comes to covering fast receivers, or in football terms, speed demons. So as long as we keep somebody else assigned to covering Jamar Chase, like for example, let's have Nate Wiggins be assigned to Jamar Chase, and then have Marlon Humphrey tasked to covering somebody else. We shall stick with that, along with the 3 safety look. Guaranteed, we will keep him under 100 receiving yards. So this should be a winnable game as long as everything goes according to plan.
All right, Maurice, thanks for getting your steps in today, brother. Let us all know in the live chat where you're at. I know you keep track of them. Joe Flacco's been under center for the Bengals for how many weeks? I think 6 weeks. They looked at Jake Browning for a little bit and realized, yeah, this is not the case. We're going to trade in division right now with Cleveland to get Joe Flacco, a proven winner and somebody that's still playing at a serviceable level in our building, and it just hasn't worked out. They're 3-8, and obviously clinging on to their playoff hopes and their playoff chances. Right now, their receiving leaders are Jamar Chase, of course, with 861 receiving yards, who missed last week's game against New England because of the 1-game suspension that he served for spitting on Jalen Ramsey, which he very, very unequivocally did. T. Higgins, who will be down, is your second leader in receiving yards at 575. Yoshivas is somebody that's gotten some chunk plays on the Ravens in recent years. Andre Yoshivas, but he's having a quiet year, just 317 receiving yards. He's been targeted 42 times, caught just 23 of those footballs. Noah Fant, one of their tight ends, along with Mike Gesicki. Has Mike been playing? I got to look into that. We're going to have Marshall Kramsky on tomorrow. We'll be asking him about the way this entire offense functions right now. Marshall's a local TV reporter and covers the Bengals on a full-time basis. I just saw his note on Instagram. He got back to me, so I look forward to kind of getting spruced up on some of the inner workings of the way the Bengals season has gone. You know, it's funny. Joseph Cook, after I screamed and shouted from the rooftops for him to come on, says he's got to go watch Maryland play the Zags. I guess that's convenient. Go watch college basketball instead of standing tall. All right. I know what your DNA is all about. EB, you ready to roll? EB? Oh, there you are. Let's just get an update on the poll, too. Where are we at with Jamar Chase prediction? Will the Ravens hold Jamar Chase to under 100 receiving yards? There's almost 200 votes, but it's very neck and neck. 51% of you think yes. 49% of you think no. Go ahead and vote in the live chat if you so would. EB on the clock as usual. Sure hope that Amazon doesn't come breathing down my neck about your work ethic. Good to see you, brother. What's going on, brother, man? What's going on?
I'm not messing with you, Bobby, man. Good Lord. I'm out here working, man, making this money.
What's going on, EB? Happy Thanksgiving.
Likewise, Bobby. Likewise, man. But do I think the Baltimore Ravens is gonna hold Jamal to below 100 yards? If the offense can get going and the defense can get some rest and they're not always on the field, yes. If the offense does not get going, no. That's just my honest belief.
Yeah, I mean, if the offense doesn't get going and Joe's gets a chance to not only get his legs under him and getting a little bit of a rhythm for the first time in 2.5 months after that procedure, and you're giving him more plays than maybe you should be, more bites of the apple with one is not a good formula for success.
No, not at all.
Thanks, EB. Safe travels out there, my man.
I'll try.
Guest lines are open. I just know it. Amazon's going to find a way to reach me. I just know it. Excuse me. We're looking for one of our key signature employers. He appears to be stopping at random properties after successfully delivering packages for the holidays. And between those pit stops and CVS parking lot pit stops for 7-10 minutes a clip, we're wondering if you have any evidence as to why that might be the case. And I would plead the fifth because EB's my guy. If you were just tuning in, I thought Mina Kimes had some interesting commentary earlier this afternoon on NFL Live.
I'm with Lamar. And Mina, I turn that question to you. What do you think is happening here with him?
Well, the injuries have clearly affected his athleticism. You see the rushing stats there. It's obvious when you watch as well. But I think the more alarming thing to some extent is how uncomfortable he looks throwing from inside the pocket. Over the last 4 weeks, according to FTN Fantasy, which tracks this, on first reads, he's 32nd in accuracy. Put that in context, last year he was second behind only Joe Burrow. And it's not like Lamar Jackson has suddenly become an inaccurate pocket passer, particularly on quick throws. To me, I suspect these things are tied together. Him knowing that he can't escape pressure the way he is accustomed to doing is clearly affecting his entire process within the pocket. Perhaps there are mechanical issues affected by the injury as well, but he's just not been himself as a pocket passer. That said, you're going up against the Cincinnati Bengals defense that can be had, that is giving up 90 yards a game to tight ends, so there will be opportunities there. But I do want to see Lamar look better within the pocket, setting aside the athleticism.
We all want to see it. We do. And the Ravens need to see it to keep this run to the division and this winning streak alive at 5 games, trying to get that to 6 on a short week. Kyle Hamilton and Rashad Bateman trying to extend this live stream as much as I can to wait for the final injury report. But I may have to go at some point here to get ready for the collective and whatnot. But if we're taking John Harbaugh at his word, Bateman and Hamilton will both go coming up on Thursday night. That's a big deal for both sides of the ball, respectively. Back to the guest lines we go. Dre, good to see you, brother. You know the drill. Will the Ravens be able to, or how about this? Is the winning formula simply with no T. Higgins and knowing on the other side of the ball, no Trey Hendrickson? Is it as simple as keep Jamar Chase? Of course, it's not as simple, but you know what I mean. Is it as simple as containing Jamar Chase, doubling him, keeping him under 100 yards receiving, which they have not successfully done in the past with this secondary? Is it as simple as that? Welcome back, Dre. What's going on, brother?
What up, bro? Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, cool. So, Jamar Chase, I would say if they are going to play this soft, pillowy coverage where they're 7 to 9 yards off the ball, slants all day. Slants all day. They are going to have to get in his face and have safety help over the top. If he gets a few chunk yard plays, we can live with that. But what we can't live with is a 5-yard slant turning into a 50-yard play. We can't do that. We can't do that. Real quick, O-line, I hope they don't go a rotation route. I feel like if you're going to let a guy play the position, let him play it. Let him get his feet wet. Let him, whether it's Emery or whoever else, let him get his feet wet. Let him stay in there. Let him build up some game toughness. And last thing, Bobby, did you see my I put a little post to you for your back, some things that you can do to help your back. If you don't see it in the live chat, go on Discord. I put it in the general chat on Discord.
Okay, I appreciate that because your boy's hurting over here, and I've been sitting in this goddamn gaming chair all day long. You know.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure if that gaming chair, it probably has a lumbar on it, right?
Yeah, it does.
Take the lumbar down a little bit so it's not pressing you.
Okay.
Yeah, take
All
the
right,
lumbar
Trey, you always
back a
got
little
me.
bit.
Guys always got me. Health and wellness.
Yes,
Safe
sir.
travels. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Great to see you.
All right, same to you.
Later, man. Guest lines are open for just a few short more moments. I got to get ready for the collective and whatnot. No T. Higgins. He has been ruled out, as has Trey Hendrickson. Ravens are going with that purple rising look with that slick helmet. It's purple on purple. It's the bank prime time Thursday night. Ravens Bengals, the first of 2 within a 3-week span. And this closing 6-week stretch is on. Man, he's been holding for what feels like. No, what the hell? Welcome back to the program, brother. Good to see you.
What's up? Are we holding Jamar? He's going to force feed it to Jamar. So I expect not only Nate. Here's the thing. I expect Nate and Starks covering Chase. You know why? Because Jamar is going to be the only target that he has available. And he's going to force feed it because he knows. Those slants, so have Starks a little bit down. So when he goes, you just whoop, interception. That's the easiest way to actually. But I expect more so of Mike Jones, to be able to pressure Burrow or even Flacco. Who knows? Like at some point is like Burrow is going to say, you know what? Fuck it. Flacco, take over. It's not worth it.
Well, hey, you speak of this duo right here, and they're having fun together, right? Draymond Jones and Mike Green. These guys are playing complimentary football right now, and Mike himself is coming off. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for the call, man. Setting us up nicely for this defensive segment to close out the show because 45 is looking really comfortable out there. He continues to showcase a number of different techniques as a pass rusher. John Harbaugh spoke about him glowingly from an advanced standpoint earlier this afternoon. This was the specific clip that I'm referencing.
I mean, he's really he's amping it up. He's making some plays. He had a couple crazy good reactions, screen passes and different things that were just natural football player moves. He's been pressuring the quarterback. He's I think the pass rush is starting to really heat up. But one of the more advanced young all-around players probably that we've had in a while. So he looks good.
He's starting to play like it. And again, it's a nice little duo and maybe even trio if you want to throw KVN in there, who I don't think will be back next year. I'd be surprised. All due respect to Kyle, I'd be surprised if the Ravens bring him back next year, just given where they're at. I'm not saying they need to rebuild the defensive front, but without knowing Nnamdi Madubuike's future, you have got to hit on the draft. You have got to bring in young talent. Yes, you need your veterans in there, and maybe Draymond Jones ends up becoming that veteran. Maybe he's an extension-eligible veteran at 28 years old, playing like a savvy veteran since he showed up and really picking up where he left off after a pretty darn good month leading up to the deadline in Tennessee. 10 pressures, 6 quarterback hits, 1.5 sacks, and a PBU is what he's done, playing 63.3% of the snaps defensively for Zach Orr and company. So good stuff. 41 is fun to watch, man. He is savvy out there, and it's organic pressure that he's dialing up. Not manufactured pressure, dynamic pressure. We like that, don't we, Joel? Welcome back, brother. Good to see you, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too, Bobby. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. So the question: Jamar Chase under 100 yards? It's possible, yeah. Say maybe 90 receiving yards at the most. If Nate Wiggins is traveling with him and Woozier maybe on him a couple times.
You know Nate wants it. You know he wants
Nate
that.
wants the smoke. I'll just say
Yeah.
that. He wants it. He wants to be proven like a number one corner. There you go. Number one receiver in the league. Go get him. Now, as far as the offense is concerned, it all depends on, like I said, I've been saying this and we've been saying this for weeks. It all depends on the guys up front. That offensive line has got to protect Lamar. And we've been saying this. The man has too many injuries on his legs.
Yeah.
Ankle, hamstring, freaking knee, now the toe. I mean, you got to protect this man. I mean, he doesn't look comfortable back there. So we're going to see how it looks Thursday. It may be one of those classic shootout games. Hopefully it's not. I don't want that again. But I believe the Ravens can pull this one out.
All right, brother.
It's not
Good to
going to
see
be
you,
easy,
man.
though.
That's how they both went last year. You know it. Good to see you, Joel. Great hat, too. 2 shootouts, 2 barn burners, 2 victories, and a regular season series sweep for the Ravens over Cincinnati last year. Jawan, you ready to roll, brother? Waiting room is still cooking. Let's get Jawan in here. Double J. Makes me think of Jared Johnson. I-95. Beast. God, they need Tavius Robinson back. They really do. That foot issue, I don't know what his timetable is, but one thing you know for sure, Adisa Isaac, I'm guessing, is bound for a lost sophomore season, which is a bummer. Third rounder out of Penn State by Eric DeCosta in 2024. Dislocated his elbow over the summer. Harbaugh said this week he had a setback. The original timetable was mid to late November. No longer the case. It's a bummer for him. But the Ravens move forward. Right, Jawan? Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Welcome to the program.
Happy Thanksgiving, Bobby.
What's going on?
Got a couple things. Sitting here thinking about the matchup with Jamar Chase. And it's like I want Nate to travel like he's been doing.
Yeah.
But I know Marlon, I'm a big Marlon fan. They've been like quietly competing. Of course, Jamar's got the better of him, but if you remember, he had that pick on Jamar last year. It was a slant. Marlo caught that thing.
That was in overtime, right?
I think so, yeah, shootout.
Yeah.
But I think if it's outside, let Nate get him. But if he comes in that slot area where Marlo hangs out, let Marlo get him just for fun. You know what I mean? But I think for him, it's big on tackling because, he's like a running back as a wide receiver. So it's tackling. And then for the offense, I would say the screen game, throwing screens to the running backs, that'll help that pressure kind of like slow down because at the defensive line, that's the worst. You see that ball go over your head and it's like, oh, and then lastly, I would just say housekeeping wise, I was watching yesterday and I seen Oluf, I think that's his name. Good to see.
That was a great call, man. That was an awesome call.
Yeah, putting a face with the name. And then Rave Kingdom, he was talking about how he's from Georgia. I'm from Georgia too.
Hey, show me that chair you got. What brand is that?
It is GTR Racing.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I got an Anda seat over here. These guys sent it to me from, I want to say somewhere. I can't remember where they're headquartered. I think it's somewhere out in Asia. But God, I love this thing. I mean, not right now because you may have heard I tweaked my back. I don't feel very comfortable right now. But this thing, I like in season, you spend all day long, all week long, all month long in this chair, and I freaking love it. Yours looks like a pretty darn good command center too. So.
Oh yeah, it's decent. I would say put something like a cushion up under your seat and elevate your feet a little bit.
You and Dre Dog, man, you guys got me covered. I appreciate
got
you.
a bad back too, Bobby. But lastly, I just want to shout out my high school. I went to Cartersville High School. Great, great tradition. A lot of alumni like Ronnie Brown, Trevor Lawrence.
Oh yeah.
Colin Barber.
Where'd you say you're from?
Cartersville, Georgia.
Cartersville, Georgia. Okay.
High school. You can look it up.
All right. Shout out Cartersville. You guys got a bunch of specimens coming out of there, huh?
Sir. Yes, sir. Trevor was my quarterback my senior year. But
hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Juwan. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the call, man.
Yes, sir.
I do enjoy a good new face and name, guys. I really do. I hope you guys will call in more. I've been trying to open up the guest lines as much as I possibly can after not doing a ton of it throughout the offseason. So it's pretty cool when, somebody like Juwan calls in, and I just think it speaks to the platform, right? It's not just people that are in the Baltimore area. It's people that have taken a liking to Lamar over the last 8 years, or perhaps have Kentucky ties, Louisville, or in Jawan's case, I'm not sure if he has any ties to the Baltimore area, but I just think it's a beautiful thing. I feel very lucky to have this platform, and in honor of Thanksgiving, appreciate all of you guys very much, and look forward to all the content that we have leading up to Thursday night. EB, I'm up against the clock. Unfortunately, I got to get ready for the collective, or else I'd bring you in for another. Listen, don't get Amazon breathing down my neck. All right, I love you. Safe travels. I appreciate all you guys for being here. I would love for you to connect with me on other social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, you name it. It all can be found at Bobby Baltimore. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership on your way out. You can scan the QR code that you see in the upper right-hand corner if you want to learn more. And check out PrestonMotor.com. It's my folks at Preston Automotive Group. And I hope you'll come on over for the trifecta at 8 o'clock Eastern. That's 2 hours and 11 minutes from right now. Jeff Zaribek, Cole Jackson, and myself coming up tonight inside the collective, 8 o'clock Eastern. Hope to see you then. And thanks for spending some time with me. We'll catch up with you soon.